All right, Ohio State, Indiana, Big Ten. This is, by the way, the first Big Ten game on CBS as the new Big Ten television rights deal goes into effect. You're going to see Big Ten games on CBS. You're going to see NBC Saturday night Big Ten this season. So a new era for the Big Ten, and this is on CBS on Saturday with their number one crew of Nestler and Danielson calling this game. Ohio State, Indiana. We've got obviously Ohio State big favorites here, 29-point road favorites, 59 being the total in this game. This is just handicapping 101 for me. Can Ohio State win and cover? Yeah. They're a lot better than Indiana. We know that, both sides of the football. But handicapping 101 to me, Conor Mack says, I don't feel comfortable laying over 4 touchdowns on the road with a brand new starting quarterback. I just don't, especially when you're coming off having a guy like C.J. Stroud, who's had obviously a nice career at Ohio State, was named the Houston Texans starting quarterback after last night's preseason finale for them. And now, of course, and from what I've seen, for Ryan Day, it's been down to the wire here between Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, as far as his quarterback competition is concerned. And that tells me no one's really stood out enough to just grab hold of the job. I think it's probably going to be Kyle McCord, but, are we 100% sure of that at the moment? That remains to be seen. So there's some doubts there. You look at Ohio State, they were supposed to be improved on defense, and early in the season last year they were, but that defense kind of fell apart when they faced some really, really good offensive teams. But when you look at it, I still like Jim Knowles a lot at the DC. And when you look at this defense, I definitely think there's going to be some improvement there. Whereas on the offensive side of the football, it'll be interesting to see what they get as far as the quarterback competition is concerned. So I'm a little reluctant, hesitant for sure to lay, more than 4 touchdowns here with Ohio State. But on the flip side, we saw Indiana was just absolutely dreadful throughout the course of last season. It's definitely Tom Allen hot seat year for Indiana. He's going to have to show some definite improvement from this program, or it's probably going to be his last year at the as head coach of this program. It looks like now that, again, another team where there's been a battle ongoing for the quarterback spot between Brendan Sorsby and Taven Jackson. We'll have to see how that pans out. But, you look at Indiana, it's got to start. First of all, it's got to start on the defensive side of the football. They weren't very good on either side of the ball last year. Offense struggled to score points, but the defense was absolutely atrocious last year. The O-line has been a consistent problem over the years for Indiana. And last year it was especially porous in pass protection. They brought in a new OL coach, Bob Bostad, to try to boost that offensive line, get it better. They do have Cam Camper back at receiver. We'll see how he fares. But to me, you look at that, it's got to start with the defense as well. Allen's a defensive-minded head coach, and it's going to have to start there on the defensive side of the football. And that was an area that was just absolutely gutted. But the good news is they brought in some good transfers on the D-line that should help. They've got more depth there along the defensive front and should be able to generate a little bit more pressure. But, again, first game of the season against, one of the teams that could win the Big Ten. I want to see it before I believe it. I'm probably not going to have a bet on this game. Side or total, but an interesting one to break down. I just think there's a lot. I wish I had more faith in Indiana because part of me wants to kind of take Indiana plus 29.5, but don't know if I'm really ready to trust this group in the first game in a tough matchup like this. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, Indiana, what are we going to get? And who's going to start at quarterback? The problem last year was they can't score. And can they score on this Ohio State team? Because you mentioned Stroud gone now. It doesn't matter. And they were loaded at receiver, running back. Ohio State should get what they want. Because Indiana, I think, got worse defensively the last few years. It's just been a mess with this program. I can't take them. This was a quick pass for me. Ohio State should win. It's just, do they cover?
You know what? I kind of see why the total has gone up because I still think Ohio State's probably going to score a lot of points, even with the quarterback uncertainty. Lean over, but I just don't know what you're going to get from Indy. Keep in mind, it was now this was C.J. Stroud last year. Let's remember that. But it was 56-14 last year for Ohio State, 70 points in the game. I think it's got a chance to get to the 60s. So, I still lean over with this game, but not sure I'll bet either one at this point in time, side or total.